All right, good morning. When it comes to injuries, the two injuries with Kane and Sauce, they'll be in the protocol for concussions, just like I talked about yesterday. Jay Tufele has a mild knee sprain, so we'll see exactly where that goes when it comes to during the week. I know we talked about Brees getting dinged up in the game yesterday. I think he'll be just fine. I know the question is going to be about Garrett, and I have more information as far as Garrett going into practice this week. So I think those are the injuries that you guys want to know about. When it comes to the game, I think the defense did a really good job putting back-to-back performances together, holding that team to 13 points when that team has been doing a really good job of scoring. So holding that team to 13 points, I think it was like 3.5 a rush when that team has been running the ball fairly well. And when it comes to special teams, I thought it was okay for the most part. I think we let them out on a return that resulted in points for those guys. So that's something that we have to tighten up. But for the most part, I thought our special teams have been doing a really, really good job over the season. When it comes to offense, listen, I understand exactly what the issues are. We got to continue to work and get those issues fixed. And I'm talking about run game, passing game, and just all the above, protection and all that. And that's what the week's for. The week's for is for us to get back out there and get the workout butts off to try to fix those things. And that's all we think about. That's the only thing we can do is go week to week, putting the work in and trying to improve. To me, that has to be the focus no matter what. It's how we improve. And that's improving across the board, offense, defense, and special teams, to put us in a position to try to win games. So that's where my mindset's at. I'm not thinking about anything else other than that. And I look forward to the week to try to get that done. So any questions?
Yeah, AG, where are you at in terms of the quarterback decision?
Well, that's something that, I want to continue to look at. Again, it's early on Monday, so I said this yesterday that there's a lot of thought that goes into that. For me personally, and then being able to get with the staff, and then just being able to ask other coaches that have been in a situation, how would they handle that? So I'm not running away from the question at all, Rich. The thing is, I want to make sure that I make the right decision, and I don't want to make rash decisions either. So I just want to make sure when the decision is made, it'll be the right one, and you guys will know that real soon.
AG, with that decision, how much of it is who's going to give us the best chance to win on Sunday in Cincinnati versus kind of long-term effects of that decision at the quarterback spot?
Well, I think it's always best on who gives you the best chance to win. And, again, that's what I think. This is a week-to-week league, and you have to make sure you get yourself prepared to win every week because every team gives you different challenges. So my mindset right now is who gives us the best chance to win, to be honest with you.
AG, what did you see other than the two picks, what did you see out of Tyrod yesterday? This looked like the offense was functioning a little bit better from the naked eye there in the passing game.
Listen, I thought the offense moved the ball better, but that has a number of things that you have to look at. Number one, we were more in a hurry-up situation, which I think he's done a really good job of. But, man, the two picks is something that's tough, and you can't have that. And I've said before, we have to create takeaways, we have to limit the turnovers, and we have to limit the penalties. And the thing is, there's a number of penalties. I can't say a number, but we like 5 penalties that we had, and we had those two turnovers. So those are things that can happen. But I would say this: in that stretch, that we did move the ball a little bit better.
In that, just as a follow-up, we talked to Justin last week, and he was talking about how he's number one thing is protecting the ball. He's always been that way in his career.
Yep.
And, of course, he was being criticized for putting the ball up and letting guys try to go up and get it, if you will. What's the balance there in terms of, where you did see, he's a very good protector of the football, but then on the other side, you see Tyrod, can sling it around a little bit better. Is that, obviously, that's part of your decision-making, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think what Justin said last week was really critical. With that statement or that question that was asked, because you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to be reckless, right? And that's with any quarterback. And I would say that, to Tyrod, to Justin, to Brady, any of those guys, listen, we want to be aggressive as far as getting the ball down the field, but let's make sure we're not reckless with the ball and not giving teams a chance to make a play on the ball. And if they do get a chance to make a play on it, our receivers are responsible for not letting those guys make those catches. And that's something that between quarterback and receiver that you have to be on the same page on that. And to me, I look at it as it should be three options. We catch it, it's a DPI, or it's incomplete. It just so happened that those guys made some really good plays on the ball, and we can't let that happen.
Aaron, you were pretty confident that you and your coaching staff could bring out the best in Justin.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of reasons why, but when you evaluated, what do you think hasn't gone right with this situation?
That's a good question, and I think there's blame to go around on a number of things when you look at that question. And we have to continue to figure out, how do we put him in the best position to be successful? We also have to look at Justin has to execute. So there's a number of things that go into that. And listen, we're not going to point the finger and blame just one person at all. We're not just going to say it's Justin's fault. We're not just going to say it's coaching. I mean, that's a situation where we all have to come together and do the best we can as far as trying to put guys in position and guys execute.
Take a couple more.
How much of Justin's challenge is just making pre-snap reads, Aaron? Because I'm thinking of that safety blitz that came right up the middle. I think it was his second sack. The guy was unblocked. How much of his struggle stems from just that, being able to read the pre-snap, the blitz and so forth?
Well, listen, you got to give those guys a lot of credit because they're not a team that just comes out and do a lot of blitzing. So there are some things that they did that was really unscouted, for us to see them do. And, those are just quick reactions that we got to have as a quarterback. And every quarterback has those. I mean, sometimes you see them. Sometimes they do a really good job of disguising. But just being able to identify quickly and being able to make the play is something that every quarterback has to do. And I think Justin's self-aware, and he would tell you guys that. That's something I have to be able to see. I think any quarterback will say that. So, man, sometimes when you get those looks, man, you have to make a decision. Either, man, you get it out to your outlet or you take off and you get a chance to run with it. No, I think we had a handoff with that also.
Aaron, do you expect Quincy back this week? I know he's also looking up IR.
That's something we'll talk about this week.
How about what's your hope level for Garrett?
Oh, man, shoot, I hope that he plays, but I understand how these injuries are. That's any player that we have that has injuries. We want all those guys playing. But listen, I'm not a doctor. I listen to the docs, and they give me the best advice that he needs and for me to have so we can go forward.
AG, what's been the key to the defensive improvement over the last couple of weeks? And specifically, can you speak about Malachi Moore and how he's played since assuming that starting role? And also the improved play of Brandon Stevens.
Well, I do know this. Anytime you have a different scheme, I wish everything could just work perfectly right off the bat. And it didn't work that way for the defense for a number of reasons. But as these guys continue to play together, as they continue to understand the scheme that Wilkes is putting in, I think these guys are getting a lot more confident in what we're doing and what their job is, and understanding what everybody's doing around them also. So I think that's a huge component of the defense getting better, and I expect those guys to continue to get better. And Malachi Moore, he's a guy that we identified in the draft that can do a number of things. He can play safety, he can play nickel. I said this before, you remind me of a guy, Brian Branch, that I had, and you see those traits up in the field. You see the play that he made on the deep ball, which was a critical play for us. And he has the ability to be able to do that. So I'm proud of where he's at. He's still an ascending player for us. But defensively as a whole, I think those guys are coming together and communicating really well to show exactly who they can be as far as the defense.
Aaron, last one from Al.
We talked about how you've gotten off the slow starts as a coach, and how you guys have worked out of it.
Yeah.
You can reflect as a player and what it was like for you.
Yeah.
When you guys put in all the work and you didn't get the results you wanted. Do you take that into account when you're talking to your players? Do you reflect on that, and how do you reflect on that?
Absolutely. Because here's what I do know is if you don't put in the work, you're not giving yourself a chance. So the only thing you have to do is put in the work. Because as you continue to work, man, you're giving yourself a chance to go out there and just right the ship the way you want to go. So, absolutely, I've been there. You guys know that. I'm never different as a coach and as a player. And I always reflect back on those things. But I do know this. Our guys are working. And this will turn. And I understand, man, we're 0-7. It doesn't feel good, but this will turn. We just have to continue to work. Is going to pay off at some point.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
You continue to work, man, you're giving yourself a chance to go out there and just right the ship the way you want to go. So, absolutely, I've been there. You guys know that. I'm never different as a coach and as a player. And I always reflect back on those things. But I do know this. Our guys are working. And this will turn. And I understand, man, we're 0-7. It doesn't feel good, but this will turn. We just have to continue to work.